The following episode was made as a school project for my sports and entertainment marketing class. Jim Henson, born September 24th, 1936, started his rise to fame by auditioning for a children's show that was looking for puppeteers. He didn't know anything about puppetry, so he went to a local library and researched puppetry because computers back then were for bored scientists. After this job, Jim and his eventual wife Jane would go on to make a sketch comedy show for NBC that introduced the world to a few of the Muppets. The show would be known as Sam and Friends. Sam and Friends lasted for 10 years and won an Emmy, but most of the episodes are sadly lost to time, though a good chunk of them have been archived on YouTube. The series wouldn't be the most successful or innovative project Jim has done, but it would lay the groundwork and give him experience for his future projects. After Sam and Friends ended, Jim would continue to flex his puppeteering skills in various commercials.
Now, what do you think of Wilkins?
Jim would meet up with the upcoming legendary puppeteer behind Fozzie Bear and Yoda, Frank Oz, while working on The Jimmy Dean Show, who would help Jim on many of his future projects. Speaking of those projects, Jim and his crew created a little children's show you might have heard of called Sesame Street. Sesame Street educated and entertained many audiences all over the world and still does to this day. The show introduced the world to the likes of Bert, Ernie, Big Bird, Oscar the Grouch, and many more, with nearly all of them becoming icons in pop culture. Jim's next project, The Muppet Show, changed formats from educational entertainment to pure entertainment. The Muppet Show ran for 5 seasons and many feature films, along with winning a lot of awards. The series finally gave a proper home to Sesame Street character Kermit the Frog, along with introducing the world to Fozzie Bear, Gonzo, Miss Piggy, and many more now iconic characters. The Muppet Show is arguably where Jim Henson hit his peak in popularity and commercial success, but Jim didn't stop creating quality programs with the end of The Muppet Show. Fraggle Rock was a musically charged fantasy series that was intended to be broadcast all over the world, with the show being written and made to reflect this intention. It used the fantasy characters to tackle social issues throughout the world in a way that all ages could understand. While not the most recognizable Jim Henson project, it still gained a dedicated following and even an animated series during its time on HBO. Jim would work on smaller successes in the last few years of his life, like The Dark Crystal and Labyrinth, which were commercial disappointments at the time but gained a cult following over the years to the point where The Dark Crystal has a Netflix series now. There was the Jim Henson Hour and The Storyteller, 2 short-lived TV shows, and the last project Henson worked on, Muppet Vision 3D. Muppet Vision 3D was an attraction at the Disney parks that not only featured fun Muppet shenanigans, but used new special effect technology in the form of the character Waldo. Waldo was created using real-time CGI puppetry, which could be seen as a predecessor to modern motion capture technology. While Muppet Vision has been discontinued in the California Disney parks, it is still open in the Florida Disney parks. Overall, Jim Henson entertained and delighted audiences worldwide while innovating and inspiring puppetry-based entertainment. While people gravitate more to the Muppets these days, I think Jim's bigger contribution to entertainment was Sesame Street. Sesame Street was an innovator in making an educational show for children that could be entertaining, which we would see in the 80s and 90s, but is sadly lacking in today's programming. But either way, Jim Henson was a cool dude and made some entertaining stuff while remaining his creative and wholesome self, which is something that should be looked up to in today's entertainment climate.